In this presentation, we talk about how to say who owns what. We're going to learn words that are the equivalent of our, his, her, your, my, etc. Possessive adjectives is simply a fancy way of referring to these words, talking about who owns what. My, your, his, her, its, our, your, and their. The way to say my in Spanish is mi. Trabajo en mi edificio. Also, you can say mis if what you have is plural. Mis colegas me invitan al almuerzo. The concept of our in Spanish is slightly more complicated because there are four different forms. If nuestro refers to a masculine singular noun, then it ends with o. If it refers to a feminine singular noun, you would say nuestra. And if it's before a masculine plural or mixed gender nouns, you would say nuestros. And if it's before feminine plural nouns, you would say nuestras. Here are examples of all four forms of our. Nuestro problema es complicado. Notice that nuestro ends with an O because problema is masculine and singular. In the second sentence, nuestra pregunta es simple. Notice that nuestra ends with a because pregunta is feminine and singular. In the third sentence, nuestros clientes vienen de toda la ciudad. Clientes is a mixed group of males and females. For that reason, we're going to use the masculine plural form, nuestros. And finally, nuestras proyecciones para este año están listas. Our projections for this year are ready. Notice that proyecciones is feminine and plural, and for that reason, nuestras ends with as. Talking about your, you have two forms. You have the singular form, su, and the plural form, sus. Look at the first sentence. Su coche nuevo es lindo. We're talking about only one car, your car. So we use su because coche is singular. The second sentence. Sus llaves están en la gaveta. Your keys are in the drawer. Notice that llaves is plural, and for that reason we use the form sus. His also uses su and sus. Look at the first sentence. Su problema es que no tiene tarjeta de crédito. Problema is singular, so we use su. The second sentence. Sus coches están en malas condiciones. Notice that coches, the word for cars, is plural. That's why you have to have the plural form, sus. These are precisely the same sentences as for his. Su problema es que no tiene tarjeta de crédito. And sus coches están en malas condiciones. In this case, su and sus mean her. And the words for their are exactly like for his and for her. There are two forms for their, su and sus. Su problema es que no tienen tarjeta de crédito. If you look back a slide, you'll see that in this slide, tienen has an N on it because we're talking about more than one person. But su is still SU because it's singular since problema is singular. Look at the second sentence. Sus coches están en malas condiciones. We have exactly the same sentence as in the previous two slides. Did you notice that? The words for your, his, her, its, and their are all the same. Su is singular and sus is plural, but they're all precisely the same word. So you see this creates some form of ambiguity. It's hard to tell if su or sus refers to your, his, her, its, or their. The ambiguity of having the same words, su and sus, to mean your, his, her, its, and their, creates some confusion at times in Spanish. Now, not all doctors are male, But what if you did have a male doctor and you simply asked the question, what's his name? Well, in Spanish, that would come across as, ¿Cuál es su nombre? And you wouldn't be able to tell from su whether the person that I'm asking about is male or female. Take a look at the second sentence, which is much clearer. ¿Cuál es el nombre del médico? What is the name of the doctor? Here you can tell that the doctor is masculine because médico ends with an O. In other words, given the ambiguity that can be created by su and sus, sometimes you want to just change the sentence completely, change the structure to make it be more specific. If you wanted to say the doctor's name in Spanish, that could be a problem because Spanish has no apostrophe S to signify possession. So what you'd have to do is you take name and you put it before the doctor. Here we can see how it might work in English. The name of the doctor instead of the doctor's name. Now, if you want to change that to Spanish, it would become el nombre del médico. Maybe you ask, well, where did del come from? Shouldn't that be de él? Well, when de and él, notice that él has no accent. When de and él are together, they form a contraction, which is del. De and la do not contract. De and los do not contract. De and las do not contract either. Adiós. C'est la vie 2020.